What's going on, everyone? It's Nick, and before we begin, please remember to like the video. Only takes 1 second, really helps out. Please remember to subscribe if you're new, if you love basketball, baseball, or football. This is the place for you. I cover all three sports. In this video, I'm going to cover both basketball and baseball right now. Good for basketball if you're a Knicks fan. Bad again for the third straight time if you're a Yankees fan. And also please remember to hit that notification bell for whenever I upload in the future. And because I'm covering two sports today, how about two different sports for the intro this time? Let's roll it. Let's get going. Alright, so the Knicks have won their last 8 now, and they're the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. Meanwhile, the Yankees, they're in last place. Like, does it not feel like the world just turned upside down by hearing that? That the Knicks are actually on pace to have home court advantage in the first round, while the Yankees suck right now. It's crazy, right? I know it's only April though, and once again, I've said this in my last 2 videos, and I may as well say it again, that the season ends in October, not April, so no, we're not going to throw the towel right now with the Yankees, but they got a lot of problems. And I also want to talk about the Knicks because we got to start with coaching. The body language between the two teams, the difference is clear as day, and yes, it starts with coaching. Tom Thibodeau has brought a winning culture back to the Knicks by getting them to play hard. Either you play hard or you don't play. Aaron Boone, I feel like I'm getting pretty repetitive with this, but he looks like a statue whenever the camera's on him. I don't think I've seen him interact with his players once this year besides when making a pitching change. In my 19 years of rooting for the Yankees, I've never seen a team this unmotivated ever. Even those years when they weren't supposed to be any good at all during Joe Girardi's second tenure with the Yankees, they were still competing, and that's why they were overachieving. Despite such pretty mediocre rosters, they were actually fighting for a playoff spot, even made the second wild card in 2015. They didn't win less than 84 games from 2013 to 2017. Well, 2017, yeah, that was actually a really good team, even though they weren't expected to be, but 2013 to 16, yeah, those rosters were pretty mediocre to say the least. Well, 2013 it was more because of injuries, but still. But those teams were competing, and it says a lot about how great Joe Girardi is. And once again, Joe Girardi holds guys accountable, and Aaron Boone, like, when has he held someone accountable? Anyone want to tell me? Because I can't think of any time when he really has held someone accountable. The next man mentality in 2019, yeah, that's something that was making him win me over, but still, I really miss Joe Girardi. So yeah, I'm gonna start with the Yankees. I'm gonna get on with the Knicks a little later, but we're gonna go with the Yankees right now, just to get the bad out of the way. But at the same time, I got something positive to bring up. Gio Urshela is starting to wake up at the plate. And hey, last game, Jameson Taillon finally pitched well, and Corey Kluber, hey, he pitched well for 5 innings, but then just completely lost the plate, and then minor league level pitcher Nick Nelson had to come in and make it even worse. But hey, Gio Urshela, he's finally starting to wake up at the plate. As for Giancarlo Stanton, he is actually hitting the ball hard when he is hitting the ball. Problem is, he's not hitting it enough, and also he's hitting it into the ground a lot. And looking at his launch angle, yeah, that explains it. His launch angle is at a career low right now, so I'm hoping and I'm expecting him to make an adjustment to get his launch angle back up to where it needs to be so he can actually drive the ball. Although he did drive the ball in the first inning of this last game, I'll give him that. You know, it was still an out. But the fact that this team, you know, they look like zombies right now at the plate. Pitching right now, I wouldn't say is that much of a problem. I mean, yeah, it could be better, but could be worse. But Garrett Cole's been lights out. Jordan Montgomery hasn't been too bad. Jameson Taillon and Corey Kluber starting to get on the right track. Well, Corey Kluber was just 1 bad inning. But back to Giancarlo Stanton. Like, with those exit velo numbers, like, you really can't tell me that he's not doing something right. But the fact that he's hitting ground balls at a higher rate than ever before, yeah, that's not something that we like to see, and that explains his career low in launch angle. And also, not to mention, Giancarlo Stanton is still striking out way too much. Like, I'm definitely not gonna ignore that. Like, I am rooting for the guy, but just, if a guy's not doing well, I'm gonna call him out no matter who he is. And yeah, Giancarlo Stanton is striking out too much, and he's also hitting the ball into the ground a little too much. Other than, okay, he did hit that ball to deep left in the first inning, and unless I'm schizophrenic, Michael Kay did say in the broadcast before he struck out in I think it was the 8th inning. But anyways, also, as for Gary Sanchez, yeah, he's been very up and down this year. And this game, yeah, it was just down. 3 strikeouts. But he still has pretty good numbers compared to other catchers in the league, but he's definitely not a top 5 catcher in the league for sure. But let's also not get it twisted. As bad as the Yankees looked at the plate, Ian Anderson is a good pitcher. Like, in the few games he pitched in last year, he did pitch well, and this year, yeah, he's been pitching well. But still, the Yankees just need somehow, some way to figure things out at the plate. In my mind, they really are way too talented to look this horrible at the plate all season long. That's one big reason why I'm not throwing the towel yet, but like, guys, come on. And Gleyber Torres, dude, just 2 years ago, you were the 3rd Yankee 23 and under to lead the team in home runs. The other 2 guys, Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle. But since last year, what happened? And this year, you're doing nothing right. Literally nothing. And Clint Frazier, I've been so high on you, but what's the matter with you? You finally got your first RBI this season, but it was too little too late when you got that first RBI. Like, at least with Giancarlo Stanton, I can look at Baseball Savant and see that his exit velo is off the charts, but Gleyber Torres and Clint Frazier, yeah, it even looks terrible on Baseball Savant as well. Like, there's nothing I see good on there. And DJ LeMahieu, he's been hands down the Yankees' best situational hitter since he's arrived, but even he grounded out with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Like, I know he's not going to deliver 100% of the time in those big situations, but still. Aaron Hicks, yeah, his numbers look abysmal this year, but actually, it's really from the left side that's been his downfall. From the right side, he's actually not doing bad at all. But the left side, it's almost to the point where if this keeps up, he may as well just not be a switch hitter anymore and be hitting from the right side. And funny enough, he was a better left-handed hitter than a right-handed hitter since 2018. And I wanted to make a video on why Aaron Hicks is underrated, but because he's been hitting so poorly from the left side of the plate, yeah, that's being shelved, at least until he gets it back together. And not to mention, his defense isn't nearly what it used to be anymore. Aaron Judge, 2 for his last 5, that's a 400 average. Okay, but bigger sample size, 3 for his last 17 with 7 strikeouts. I really do like Aaron Judge, but I have gotten tired of him looking at meatballs down the middle that a monster like him should be crushing. Yankees got the Indians next, and Aaron Savali against Domingo Germán. Yeah, Domingo Germán, yeah, that concerns me. And also, Aaron Savali has been pitching really well this year, so yeah, I'm not looking forward to this right now. Even though the Yankees, yes, they have a better team on paper, I am worried about the pitching matchup for tomorrow. And then after that, I'm not sure who's going to pitch next. I don't think it's been announced yet, but if the Yankees got to go against Shane Bieber and Zach Plesac, oh boy. Got the Tigers and Orioles after that, so hopefully that'll be the time for the Yankees to start getting hot. If that's not when they start getting hot, then yeah, I'm gonna start getting really concerned about this team. But okay, let's get on to some more positive vibes now about the Knicks. Again, how is it on April 22nd, 2021, that the Knicks are the most exciting team in New York at the moment, and the Yankees are pretty much rock bottom at the moment? Like, for the Knicks to be good again, it really cost the Yankees to be this bad? Alright. But anyways, how about the 4th place New York Knicks? A team many people, including myself, expected to be towards the bottom of the league. Imagine being told going into this season that the Knicks would have home court advantage in the first round, because if the season ended today, they would. And I would have thought you're crazy. I think pretty much anyone would have thought so too. And kudos to Tom Thibodeau, who's got to be the coach of the year this year, for the difference that he's made, for bringing a winning culture back to the New York Knicks. Much like Joe Judge is doing for the New York Giants right now. Except the Knicks actually have a winning record. The Giants didn't have one last year. But I know my Giants are going to be pretty damn good in 2021. But this is about basketball at the moment, so let's stick to the topic. And I was thinking at the beginning of the year that Julius Randle would not shoot the 3-ball as ridiculously as he has been this year all season long, but boy has he proven me wrong, because he's never really been that good of a 3-point shooter. But at this point in the season, he's still shooting 40% from 3, while also shooting 80% from the free throw line. The impact that Kobe, and may Kobe rest in peace, had on Julius Randle is really showing. If you're a Knicks fan and you've been watching Knicks games, you definitely have heard about this, but for those who aren't Knicks fans, yeah, I'll tell it to you right now. So Kobe instilled it into a very young Julius Randle that in order to really get to the next level, when you're on the road, you got to find the nearest gym to your hotel to get some shots up. And yeah, that's what Julius Randle has not only done himself, but he's gotten his whole team to do. So hey, Knicks fans, thank you Kobe, right? Because of the mentality he brought to Julius Randle, which Julius Randle has carried over to the New York Knicks as a team. And this is just some behind the scenes stuff that we just never saw with Kobe. But alright, also going back to how Tom Thibodeau has really changed the culture for the Knicks. Unlike Aaron Boone, this guy holds players accountable. And if you're playing for Tom Thibodeau, either you play hard or you don't play. That's why you see guys like Elfrid Payton and Taj Gibson playing over 20 minutes per game. And Payton at 25, even though he's a horrible offensive player, it's what he brings on defense, and effort is a big part of defense. And also Taj Gibson, he's a guy who, yeah, he's not the most gifted player, but he plays hard. That's why he gets playing time. And this team right now, they're currently 3rd in defensive rating, even with Mitchell Robinson's injuries. And Nerlens Noel has done a really nice job filling in that void, and they've also given up the lowest defensive field goal percentage this season. And Reggie Bullock has also done a really nice job for the team on defense, and this month he's stepped up his offensive game too. 14.3 points per game on some really good efficiency, and he had 18 points while shooting 6 for 11 all on threes against the Hawks. And also not to mention how much Julius Randle has stepped up his defense, because coming into the league and some of his first few years in the league, he was a defensive liability, but he sure isn't one anymore. And also about Julius Randle shooting the 3 way better than anyone ever could have imagined. The team is 6th in 3-point percentage this year, while not taking very many at all, and Julius Randle's no exception. He's taking 5 per game this year, which isn't really a whole lot in the modern NBA. A long time ago, yes, it would have been quite a lot, but in this day and age, no, it's not. And Reggie Bullock is attempting the most threes on the team this year, followed by Randle and Alec Burks. They're all shooting above 40% from 3 this year, and RJ Barrett's at 39% from 3, Emmanuel Quickley at 38% from 3. As the great Walt Clyde Frazier would say, these guys are swishing and dishing. And RJ Barrett, since March, has been playing the best basketball of his young career. He shot the 3 horribly last year, just 32%, but this year in 39%. And okay, this game against the Hawks, just 6 of 18 and 2 of 8 from 3, but still. Outside of that, in a 2-game stretch where he shot poorly against the Lakers and Pelicans, he's been really fun to watch. And I don't know if he's gonna be a superstar, but he definitely has all-star potential. And I also got to give Derrick Rose a shout out for his 20 points against the Hawks, and Emmanuel Quickley also 20 points against the Hawks. Both of them came off the bench. Those guys were doing a really nice job beating guys off the dribble, and Emmanuel Quickley 4 of 6 from 3 in this game. But still, of course, Julius Randle has to be the player of the game with his 40 points and 11 rebounds, and that was, I believe, his 4th 40-point game of this season. These last 2 games, the Knicks were down at the half, and the Knicks were down going into the 4th quarter of this game. But once again, under Tom Thibodeau, these guys don't quit. And like I said in the blog I wrote about the Knicks, like right after the All-Star game, I think, it's become more clear than ever that Tom Thibodeau was not the problem during his tumultuous stint in Minnesota. And playing back-to-back games and winning both of them, you gotta love that. This team still needs another piece to win a championship, but just to be this good is very much a successful season. I don't know how you could say otherwise. And honestly, I'm even gonna go as far as saying that I definitely do see this team winning a playoff series this year. I'm not saying that they will, but I do think that they could. But even if they get bounced from the first round, still, this season is 100% a successful season considering what the expectations were going into the season and what they've been able to accomplish. Yeah, 100% a successful season, and exactly why Tom Thibodeau has to be the coach of the year this year. Thanks to Tom Thibodeau, I'll bring up another Walt Clyde Frazier quote that this team has razzled and dazzled. Or he would say razzle dazzle, but whatever. And speaking of Walt Clyde Frazier, you could tell he's the most enthusiastic he has been in a long time broadcasting these games, because this team is finally weaving and achieving again. You know, I was so down talking about the Yankees, but I start talking about the Knicks and all of a sudden I find myself being very enthusiastic. And yes, I am more of a Lakers fan. I'm sure somebody may have wrote that in the comments by now, but you know that I do root for the Knicks too. I just root for the Lakers over the Knicks because Kobe was my favorite player growing up and I have relatives in SoCal, but as a New Yorker, of course, I gotta show love to the Knicks too. But also, I really do hope that Trae Young is okay. And the injuries this season, yeah, honestly, I think that we would have been better off with a 50-game season than a 72-game season starting in December. It could have been something like the 99 season, but oh well. I'm sure I would have been disappointed with a 50-game season at the time back in December, but seeing what this season has turned out to be as a whole across the league with all the injuries, yeah, I think we would have been better off with a 50-game season. With that short of an off season, yeah, I think we should have known that this many injuries would happen. And it has not been a good NBA season, but hey, at least the Knicks are doing way better than expected. So New York can certainly be happy about that, right? Well, at least Knicks fans. And my friend Brian, the sports nerd, told me I should make a video on that, but it looks like Rusty Buckets already beat me to it. Maybe I can put my own spin on it though, because I don't want to copy someone else's content. But yeah, it's something that I was thinking about talking about until I saw Rusty Buckets post his video. I haven't watched it yet, but I just saw it in my recommendations. But let's also end with some good vibes. Derek Chauvin found guilty. Gotta love it. Thank God. Hopefully he gets a maximum sentence. Now on to his 3 associates. Oh no, we did not forget about them. But the fight's not over. This is just one step in the right direction. And the fact that the Yankees and Knicks won the same day that he was found guilty, what a day! I mean, yeah, it wasn't the prettiest win for the Yankees, and just one win is not going to erase all their problems, but it's a win nonetheless, and I'll take it, only to follow it up with another abysmal offensive performance. But hey, the fact that the Yankees and Knicks won on the same day that Derek Chauvin was found guilty, even though it is kind of sad that we even had to try that hard just to get George Floyd his justice, but it damn sure was very much worth the fight. And hey, it's not over. This is just the beginning. But that's all I got for today. Hopefully the Yankees start turning it around. Hopefully the Knicks stay hot. Please remember to like. If you still haven't yet, please remember to subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And also please remember to hit that notification bell for when I upload in the future. Talk to you next time.